Keeping their distance, of late more and more Democrats are separating themselves from the president and their party's leadership. Recently, some have voted to hold Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt as well, while others are expected to vote to repeal the president's health care law. So, why is that happening?
Let's talk to that guy right there, Pennsylvania Congressman Jason Altmire. He's a member of the so-called Blue Dog Democrat Coalition. He joins us live. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Why are a number of Democrats distancing themselves from a fella who was a very popular president a couple of years ago?
It's not unusual when you have a president that's not going to do well in your district as a member of Congress. You want to show your independence. You want to demonstrate to your constituents that you're first and foremost.
You're listening to them and Pelosi.
Yeah, that the first thing in your mind is always going to be your district. And I represent a district that the president lost by 11 points in 2008. I was able to win the election by 12 points that year because I was able to show independence. And there are places in the country where the president's popular. I do believe he's going to win the election overall in the country. But if you represent a district where he's not popular, it's important that you show your independence.
All right, so you did that in 2008. In 2010, you also showed your independence. You voted against Obamacare.
Right.
Now in 2012, you lost in the primary just held in April. But now you're not voting to repeal Obamacare. Why?
There's a few things in the bill that are making a difference for people in the district I represent. I have the fourth most Medicare beneficiaries of any district in the country. The prescription drug donut hole that we heard so much about for years and years is being closed because of the health care law that was passed, the pre-existing condition exclusion that's in the bill, where you can't be denied coverage on a pre-existing condition. That's already taken effect for children. And there's other things in the bill, tax credits for small businesses that have taken effect that are making a difference. And I want to preserve those. Those are good parts of the law and fix what didn't work. I voted against the overall bill because you don't get the line item veto. You don't get to say, I'll take this but not that. In the repeal, you can do that. You can say, let's leave these pieces in place that are making a real difference for people, and let's overturn what we don't like.
Meanwhile, when we look at what happened in the House just about 2 weeks ago, when the House found the Attorney General, Eric Holder, in contempt, you voted with a majority of the Republicans by saying, yeah, he's got to cough up the documents. Why?
Well, I'm a member of the House of Representatives, and we do have investigation and oversight authority over the administration. And whether or not you agree with the investigation, the Attorney General was asked to provide documents. He made a decision not to provide them. I was left with no other choice. I'm a member of the House, and he didn't comply with the request.
Was that because you feel that a majority of people in your district feel that way, or because you feel it's right?
I feel it's right. I would also suspect a majority of my district feels that way also. But when you look at the case that we're looking at, Fast and Furious, that's one issue. And I do think we need to get to the bottom of why Agent Terry was killed and the mistakes that were made in that program. But the vote on Attorney General Holder was one very specific issue. Did he comply with the request for further documents into that investigation? He didn't comply. So I had to cast the vote that I did.
I want to go back to the so-called Blue Dog Democrats, which you are one of, the conservative Democrats, and in these swing districts. So representatives are not going to go to the convention in North Carolina. They don't really want to go to events where the president is there. And yet, President Obama is neck and neck in the polls with Mitt Romney. How do you rationalize that? If he's unpopular in some of these swing districts, how is he still neck and neck in the national polls?
I can't speak for every member. Democrats are going to make their own decision. I'm attending the convention. I attended in 2008.
Got nothing to lose.
Well, now, but in 2008, when I was on the ballot and I knew he wasn't going to do well in the district I represent, I went to the convention. He's the leader of the party. And I think in the home stretch heading into the campaign, you have an obligation to represent the party. That's what the political operation is all about. Other members have made different decisions, but again, when you campaign at home, you have to show that your first instinct, your first passion is going to be for your district, not for any other person, but the people that sent you to Washington in the first place to work for them.
That's the way it's supposed to work. All right. Jason Altmire from the great state of Pennsylvania, thank you very much for making the trip up to New York.
Thank you for having me.